Hello, welcome to Trial Lawyer TV. I'm Brandon Waltrip. In today's episode, we're going to discuss reasonable suspicion. What is reasonable suspicion? Reasonable suspicion is the legal standard applied by courts in determining when an officer makes an appropriate initial stop or detention of an individual. It's often referred to as stop and frisk, but those terms are separable. That means a lawful stop may not always result in a lawful frisk. It's an objective standard based upon the totality of circumstances and the information available to the officer at that time. What are some examples of reasonable suspicion? Courts have found appropriate reasonable suspicion when a driver made a U-turn as they approached a DUI checkpoint. They also found reasonable suspicion when a driver was weaving in a lane and driving significantly under the speed limit, as well as when there's dangling objects from a rear view mirror, as well as unprovoked flight at the presence of police. In each of these cases, the court found that the conduct of the driver or the individual would create in the mind of a reasonable officer a suspicion that there was a violation of law. So how does a defense attorney approach litigating issues of reasonable suspicion? The most common is filing of a written motion to suppress before the day of trial. However, some courts and jurisdictions allow oral motions immediately before the trial. In any case where you're litigating a motion to suppress involving reasonable suspicion, you should focus on the conduct known to the officer before the detention or stop. And don't allow the officer to simply state he relied on his experience and training. You should also probe what that training and experience involves. That factor alone, an officer's training and experience, while important, is not sufficient on its own to warrant reasonable suspicion. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Trial Lawyer TV. If you have any questions or other video ideas, please leave a message in the comments section below. If you have a pressing legal matter, make sure to seek out the advice of an attorney licensed in your state. As always, check back for more videos, and remember, carry the fire.